tonight. For those who fancy tennis, at 11:45, you'll see the women.
Champions Trophy. They were champions united.
It's unbelievable. It's just sinking in now, you know. It's taken all week to sort of believe it, you know what I mean?
It's been a long time coming, but it's well worth it.
Done and done. We've won Division 1. We are the champions.
Welcome to the programme, and over the next half an hour we'll be joining in the celebrations as the City of Leeds pays its tribute to the Football League champions. And we'll be talking to the key men behind this latest title success. Leslie Silver, the chairman, Howard Wilkinson, the manager, and players like David Batty. But first, let's sample the excitement of this open-top parade with the City of Leeds.
Cherish. I mean, it takes a long time to do what we've done, and you've got to make the most of it. And this is the icing on the cake, really. It's fantastic.
It's just chaos out there, but rather nice as well.
It's great. It's beautiful. You just got to soak it all in, haven't you, and enjoy the experience, because you don't know when the next one's going to be.
Oh, it's the best day of my life so far.
Yeah.
It's been, football-wise, it's absolutely brilliant. Just can't explain how high and elated everyone feels at the moment.
Champions! Champions! We are the champions!
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm getting more enjoyment than everybody else enjoying it. I've been in the game 20 years. I've not been blasé, but I've been in the choke a couple of buses, but you still get the kick out of the boys singing and joking. And this is what makes it for me. Everybody enjoying themselves with their families and enjoying it, and seeing the people outside enjoying it.
Well, as the bus makes its way slowly through City Square, and the progress is rather slow because of the crowds towards the Town Hall, it's a good opportunity for us to look back 18 years ago when Leeds United last won the title, but sadly that was followed by the barren years. Jake Fowler reports.
No one typifies Leeds' revival more than Gordon Strachan. When Leeds last won the title in 1974, it was another diminutive, ginger-haired midfield genius from Scotland who performed the ceremony. But in those days, Leeds were used to being at the top. For the team that Strachan leads, this is all new. Leeds now want to go on and conquer all of Europe. They came close 17 years ago. A day of celebration in Leeds contrasts with a night in Paris when those close to the club sensed that a famous footballing dynasty was coming to an end.
I feel really upset, I feel sorry, I feel very, very sad indeed. I've lived with them, I've eaten with them, and I thought tonight would be the night when they would get paid for all the hard work and dedication they put into the game.
When Leeds lost the European Cup final in 1975, Don Revie had gone, but it was largely his team that came so close to conquering Europe. For years to come, the Leeds faithful would have to live on memories.
When you see it all breaking up, a really great sad at that. And that's it's sad when you've been with them so long, connected, and had triumphs and disappointments with them along the line.
You think we'll see another great Leeds side pretty soon?
Oh, I think that it's been broken up and it had to come some time or other, whether I'd stayed or not. And it had to be a rebuilding of Leeds United.
The new manager, Brian Clough, seemed hell-bent on destruction rather than rebuilding, according to his critics. The team tracksuit would stay on his back for only a fraught 44 days.
Is it only 7 weeks? I thought it was 7 years.
Jimmy Armfield flew in next. A popular and studious manager, he took Leeds to the European Cup final and worked to build a new side, drafting in players like Joe Jordan and Tony Curry. Crowd pleasers with flair, but Armfield was always aware of the high expectations of Leeds supporters.
I suppose really, you know, this is one of the hardest things, you know, to follow the sort of 60 period when Leeds, you know, were one of the top teams in Europe. Well, to reach that sort of peak again will take time, and I think people realise this. But on the other hand, I don't know, I'm quietly confident, really.
Armfield kept the best of the old squad to steady his new recruits. His sacking was a surprise. Leeds were 5th in the First Division when he departed. A career in broadcasting would prove much less fraught. The club wanted someone with experience and authority to challenge the likes of Liverpool. They turned to Jock Stein from Celtic, but his stay was as short as Clough's. And when Stein headed back to Scotland to manage the national side, another new face arrived at Elland Road. Jimmy Adamson had been offered the England manager's job, but his time at Leeds has only bad memories for United fans. An early exit from the UEFA Cup in 1979 summed it up.
Rows of empty seats at Elland Road on Wednesday told the story of increasingly desperate days for Leeds United. Crayova's second goal from Beldenu after 85 minutes might qualify as Romania's goal of the season. With sections of the crowd calling for his resignation, how secure is the manager's position?
It'll not make it any better, but as far as I'm concerned, I've got a job to do here at Leeds. The Leeds directors have not interfered at all, and if they don't interfere with my job and I get on with it and I'm a failure, then I expect to be kicked out the door.
But the directors of the club didn't fire Adamson. In the end, he resigned, and the first of 3 Revie old boys took over as manager.
Alan Clark at 34, the youngest in the First Division, here very much by popular demand, and as he was as a player, determined to be his own man.
Alan Clark promised success. When he took over, Leeds was second from bottom of the First Division. It was unthinkable in Revie's era, but things improved and they climbed up the table, making slow progress. So goals were not plentiful that season, but at least Leeds weren't giving many away at the other end. When Leeds did go down, Clark was on his way too, forever remembered as the manager who was there when relegation beckoned. Whoever replaced him had one of the toughest jobs in football.
Eddie Gray knows that if they keep the score like this, Leeds will go through.
3 seasons running, Leeds missed out on promotion. The feeling was that the side Eddie Gray had created was too lightweight. It was time now for some steel and determination. Both of which qualities Billy Bremner was famous for as a player. He was another obvious choice for Leeds as Revie's captain and manager at Doncaster Rovers. But Bremner knew that talk of the glory days would do his young players no good.
People keep talking about like 20 years ago, the good old days here. I mean, they're gone. I mean, in football, yesterday was a long time in football, you know, and we're talking about 15, 20 years ago.
In 1987, Bremner came close. Leeds nearly got to the FA Cup final and missed promotion through this goal in the playoff game with Charlton. The faithful fans were still there, but life in the second division was all too familiar. Just down the M1, another great Yorkshire club who'd been there, Sheffield Wednesday, had broken their jinx. They were back in the first division. Times were good at Hillsborough, and the club's manager was being noticed.
I've been amazed at the number of letters I've had and a number of people who've come up to me and said the performance at Southampton was terrific.
Don Revie made his last appearance at Elland Road just weeks before Bremner's dismissal. Things had come a long way since the 1974 championship season. Revie was crippled with motor neurone disease. It was a moving scene as the players who'd fulfilled his footballing dream gathered around him before a charity match in his honour. Billy Bremner duly left in September 1988. Some still say that the foundations for Leeds' lean years were laid when Brian Clough and not Johnny Giles was appointed manager all those years ago. Leeds would once again now face a rebuilding programme. They tempted Howard Wilkinson from First Division Sheffield Wednesday, his hometown club. The emphasis now would all be on the future. The architect was to be an outsider. Even the images of the past would be banished. Bremner, Charlton, Giles and the like had all been great players, but the emphasis now would be on new men, like Gordon Strachan, Wilkinson's most inspired signing. Leeds duly won the Second Division Championship and were back after 8 years. The crowd would soon be cheering for new heroes, homegrown talent as well as expensive imports. And on a rainy lunchtime, the fans come to see their team training even when there's no ball in play. The championship came earlier than expected, and all thoughts of the dark days for Leeds are gone. The Leeds faithful aren't used to so much success. The chances are they'll soon rediscover their appetite for it has returned.
The man himself, Mr. Howard Wilkinson.
The football historians are no doubt already rewriting the story, and Leeds have succeeded earlier than they thought in what the manager calls making their own history.
The good times are back, and can you blame everyone for wanting to be involved in the biggest party to be held in the region for years? Well, I don't know how much the haircut cost, but in terms of memories, this day will be a priceless one in the years to come for thousands of people.
Why?
Keep scoring loads of goals.
And someone, ladies and gentlemen, who's made a triumphant entrance to the country of Leeds United. Please welcome Eric Cantona! Please welcome Sergeant Wilco Howard Wilkinson! Here he comes, complete with family. Fans of Leeds United, on behalf of the best team in England this season, first of all, we like to say how much we appreciate your turnout this morning. And all I can say to you and to the chairman is, it looks as though we'll have to go and try and win it again.
Well, of course, Leeds United actually won the championship last week and the pressure was taken off them completely then. But what a reception we're getting in the city square now. From how many are out there? I don't know, around about 50,000 people. Well, I caught up with Howard Wilkinson away from all the hubbub of Ellen Road a little earlier in the week. I actually challenged him to a game of golf, and it was a time for him to look back on a remarkable season.
Cheers.
Ben Wilkinson is 5 and Leeds United mad, and obviously likes a drink. But this was special. Last Sunday night, Leeds United were champions. At Ellen Road, Howard Wilkinson is always in demand. On the golf course at Moralton in Leeds, he relaxed, along with his friend Adriano, a local restaurant owner in the city.
Just in the rough on the right. Not bad first shot for 3 weeks.
There is no hotter property in soccer than the Leeds United manager. His achievements are remarkable. He has a job for life and can look back with real satisfaction that he's climbed from the bottom rung of the ladder to the top.
I've had a job for life since I was 27 and I joined Boston United. My job for life was football then, football management. It's good that I was at Boston United. You know, training 2 nights a week, driving a clapped out white Cortina down through Newark, looking out the side window because it was so foggy you couldn't see, 3 of you in it, picking people up at motorway restaurants and lay-bys. When the power strike was on, winning the championship, playing something like 4 games a week for 3 weeks running. The thing I like about non-league football is generally most of the people involved in it love football. They have to, because generally what they get out of it in terms of finance nowhere near compensates for the trouble they have to go to play.
Wilkinson inherited a sleeping giant.
Yes.
But also a club living in the past, so he took down the photographs of the great Leeds United team that adorned the club's reception area.
Those photographs were very, very symbolic. Yeah. Taking them down was no disrespect to Don Revie, nor to that team, nor to anyone else. I had to get Leeds United into the 2nd Division. I thought those photographs were symbolic, and symbolic for a number of reasons. They were there as a sort of crutch for too many people. Spectators, members of the board, even players, sort of still basked in the reflected glory of that team and those photographs. And I did say, we have now got to make our own history. They've had their history, and their history will go in the new museum, which the club will have when we've made this club a big club again. At that time, it wasn't a big club. People talk about big clubs. Big clubs win things, and this club hadn't won things. It was in the 2nd Division, so it wasn't a big club, and we weren't a good team. We were 4th from bottom of the 2nd Division. So we had to start to make our own history that would go into that new museum that we were building. And all those photographs that are dotted around the place will obviously take pride of place in that new museum, because at this moment in time we have come nowhere near. I mean, what we have achieved in the 3.5 years we've been at it would fill perhaps 1 corner of that museum. You know, you have to find room for us. So that was the reason. It was part of the rehabilitation process that I thought was necessary to the club.
But the achievement in winning one of sport's greatest prizes is just beginning to sink in. Wilkinson admits the emotion of what has happened is getting to him.
I keep seeing, you know, I saw it last night on television. I saw the trophy. I never realised how big the trophy was. It's silly little things that start to make an impression. The medal, I remember when we got from the 2nd Division, I got the medal. What an impression that made on me. Right until the minute I opened the box, I never even thought about the medal. And then as soon as I opened the box and saw the medal, it was quite an emotional moment.
Winning the title is every football manager's ambition, but you've achieved it so quickly.
Yeah, it's... I mean, I said to Gordon, when I was talking to Gordon when we signed Gordon, and I told the chairman, I said I would give us 2 years to get promoted. But I thought we'd do it in the 1st. And then I said, you know, I'd give us 3 years to get in Europe. And I sort of thought we'd do it in the 2nd. But the championship, given the sort of opposition we're talking about, that was something that was, you know, it was 3 or 4 years after we got promoted, even thinking about having a go at it, you know, even thinking about starting the season and having a crack at it. And if I've got to play golf for you again after we win the next one.
The price of fame. But the club is reaping the dividends of its own success. Sergeant Wilco, as he's known, is in demand. So too are Leeds United. But along with his team, he has given the city an immeasurable lift after some decidedly under par years.
The mailbag now at Leeds United is my secretary is just you can just see her head popping out of all the faxes and letters and everything. But on Monday I met a couple of businessmen, just purely by accident, and both employed quite a large number of people. Both talked about how different the morale was in the factory that morning. Other people have talked to me about how important it is for the city commercially. So it's got to be good. And the fact that the football supporters at this football club now represent everything that's good about football, and the fact that the team now represents everything that's good about football, you know, can only mean that Leeds as a city starts off this summer or this August with a very, very positive view of the next 12 months. To be involved in the European Cup means you are the cream of your country, and that's what Leeds has got to aim to be.
Well, that's one championship that Howard Wilkinson didn't win. Well, you can see they're still very much involved in all the festivities here, and there's so many of the Leeds United players who've contributed to their title success. But I reckon it must be a particularly sweet moment for Leeds lad David Batty. He, of course, won a full England cap as well. Damien Johnson reports on the Leeds lad who certainly has made good.
It's not long since David Batty travelled to Elland Road to watch Leeds United on the bus with his friends. A sports car has since replaced the service bus, and Batty's now a player, not a spectator. But he remains at heart a Leeds United fan. At 23, he's become a hero among United supporters and is already tipped as a future captain. His enthusiasm for the game was fired by his father, who brought him to watch his first match at the age of 7.
Well, my first game down here was 1975. They were playing Stoke. It was a midweek game. I think, like any lad, I was so excited I can't really remember too much about the game. I was stood on low fields on a box, and my dad outside of me were great.
Any particular players stick out in your memory at that time?
Well, the players that were about at that time were likes of Ray Hankin, who'd come from Burnley, play centre forward.
Oh, and a fine goal! Ray Hankin, his first here at Elland Road.
There's, of course, the Lowfield end where you used to stand as a kid.
Yeah, it brings back a few memories on here.
Changed at all?
Not so much, no. There's just a few alterations with seating where I used to stand as a lad.
And of course this is all coming down next season. Any feelings on that?
Well, I think it's always a little bit sad to see an old stand going. But it's like the club have come a long way in a short time, and it just something have to be made, both on and off the pitch.
Can you remember your first game for Leeds, your debut?
Yeah, well, it sticks in memory. It'll stick in my memory for a long time to come, I should imagine. It were against Swindon Town, 1987. I mean, I think every player needs to be a little bit lucky on his debut, in that the team played well that day, and it does make it easier for you to play well, and it went well for me that day. It's never been the case for me that I've been nervous. Like on my debut, I was looking forward to it so much that feeling of excitement overcame any of nerves, and I just went out and enjoyed myself.
Friends and family here to watch?
Well, yeah, there were everybody here, yeah. Just a great day.
Batty's since established himself as a regular first-team player. His combative midfield style has earned comparisons with the former Leeds captain Billy Bremner, who gave him his Leeds debut. His ball-winning skills have also impressed the England manager Graham Taylor. His performances this season could earn him a place in the England squad this summer for the European Championships in Sweden.
If I can just ask you to put modesty aside for a moment, what has David Batty's contribution been to Leeds' championship winning season?
Been reasonably happy with how we've played. I think every player during the season has a dodgy period, and I had it round about Christmas, and I finished the season off quite well.
You've earned this reputation as something of a hard man in the middle of the field. Is that justified? Do you feel fed up with that sort of tag?
Well, I think sometimes it can be called a hard man when actually your job is just to win the ball and lay it, which is what my job is at Leeds. We've got a nice blend throughout the team, and I'm just one part of 13.
And today's reception, the culmination of a special year for David Batty, with the promise of many more of them to come. Inside the town hall, it was a lot quieter, but the civic welcome was just as warm. The city has been yearning for this day to return for 18 years. At times it looked as if it would never happen. But one man always believed in Leeds United. Leslie Silver, the chairman.
Harry, I had no doubt in my mind at all that sooner or later we'd hit the jackpot with it. And the key, of course, was getting Howard Wilkinson in those 3.5 years ago, and then help him and watch him build a team that has now made the big time. I think the most wonderful thing is that this team is respected as a football team, not only for being champions, but for playing good football. And I think that for us is very, very exciting.
One of the achievements has also been off the field because the fans have played their part and the dirty Leeds tag's gone. Nobody says
we were primarily concerned with cleaning that image up, and also, much more importantly, that in Paris 18 years ago, we got smeared with a very bad name. And the club as a whole, from the players, the directors, the management, have been obsessed with cleaning that image. And I think today we've won it. I think we've won the battle.
Howard Wilkinson's obviously been the key appointment. Is he the best you've ever made?
Yeah, he's not done a bad job. Don't overdo it too much, Howard. You know, we've got contracts to renegotiate. He's done a very good job as Howard, yeah.
I sometimes wonder why anyone wants to be a football chairman, because there have been times, let's be honest, a few years ago when Leslie Silver's name wasn't exactly the most
popular. Popular then as it was today, was it? Well, I think it's just a matter of a job satisfaction exercise. I think that, you know, you take a job on, and you want to do as best you can. And I think the key of it was the fact that this was a club that was a sleeping giant. And here was an opportunity to make something in a big way for a city and for a club. And I think it's great that we got there this week.
In a sense, it's only just begun though, hasn't it, now?
Oh, yes. I think our measurement of success will not be just this 1 year. Our measurement of success will be the ongoing exercise as the year goes forward. We're hoping that for the next 10 or 15 years, Leeds will be at the top, particularly with our new stadium coming into play this next year or so. Things are happening.
Well, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed the programme. We're going to leave you now with the sights and sounds of a city paying its tribute to the Football League champions. Cheerio.
I love you. I don't know why, but I love you. I'm sorry, but I am very, very, very happy. Thank you very much.